play blue guitars. So get yourself a nice blue guitar. Blue shirt helps as well. A little Squirtle helps. But anyways, in all seriousness, we'll do a little blues tutorial. I've actually had a few people asking for this. A few of my students that like to play blues kind of want a video to go over some of that stuff. So step one, of course, blue guitar, blue shirt. Won't work without any of that. This is a custom Fender Squier Strat, obviously heavily modded. This color is not stock. This pickguard is not stock. The pickups, the pots, nothing about it is really stock. Upgraded string trees, free pro guitar tip. Roller trees like that only cost a couple bucks, like $2, and you can get like 6 on eBay. Easy upgrade to do. They're much nicer than those standard little kind of mushroom M-shaped string trees that Squiers typically come with. It's actually a pet peeve of mine that any guitar company uses those old ones. Maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know. They're probably just cheaper. But at $2 for a pack of like 6 of these roller string trees, why not? Another pet peeve of mine. When guitar companies do not sell, I can't even see it, do not sell locking tuners as an option. Not everybody likes locking tuners, but a lot of people do. They're kind of nice. I like locking tuners. Make them an option. But anyways, heavily upgraded Strat Squier. Very cool guitar. Kind of a bluesy guitar. If you're playing a 3 pickup single coil Squier like this for blues, I like the 4th position. So you're using your bridge and center single coils there. I like that personally, just my preference, especially when I'm playing the chord pattern behind the blues. That's what I like. Obviously, your guitars are going to be different, your amps are going to be different. Feel free to do whatever you think sounds best. This guitar also, you might notice on the bridge, this is what's called a decked bridge. I don't like trem systems because they get in the way of my hand, and I've never used one in my life because I just don't understand why they exist. So on any Strats that I own, I deck the bridges. Super easy. You just screw all the screws on the back little claw thing all the way down, put a bunch of springs on it, and that thing is rock solid. It's not going anywhere. And it stays in tune a lot better than the floating trem systems tend to do, at least in my experience. But anyways, let's get to playing blues. So the first thing you need if you're going to play blues, especially if you're going to use it as sort of a learn to solo technique, which is what I prefer it as and what I teach it as to my guitar students. Easiest thing to do, you can find blues progressions everywhere online. People have been playing the blues since long before the internet was invented by Al Gore. So you can go ahead and find any blues progression you like online. If you want to write your own, the classic easy one to start with that so many songs play is a 1-4-5. And all that means is if you take your circle of fifths, and I have my handy circle of fifths here, it's got all the chords labeled. This is in the key of C, and you can just find the 1, 4, and 5 chord. It's that easy. Find circle of fifths online. You can get one of these things for like $10, whatever. Pick a key that you like, that you think sounds cool. Pick some chords. Again, 1-4-5 is super easy. There are tons of progressions out there. 5-2-1 is a cool one, sounds really neat. It doesn't have to be 3 chords either. And what I like to do when I write blues riffs and blues chord progressions is I like to use 7th chords because they sound way more bluesy than your typical, especially cowboy chords or open chords, whatever you want to call them. So the blues I'm going to play today is in A minor. It's my favorite progression that I've written, at least, because it sounds really cool and it's super easy to play. If you play just a normal A minor, it's a good chord. I like it. But everybody knows it, is really familiar if you play A minor 7. To me, it sounds bluesier. And it might not to you. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I like 7th chords. And then another trick I like to do, and I'll put this blues progression that I've got written up on the screen so you can see it. But another thing that I like to do is at the end of a progression, if I'm writing it in minor, which I usually am, I like to just put the major chord at the end. It sounds really cool, gives it kind of an ethereal ending. And I just know that from Guess and Check. That's literally it. It's just from playing a lot of blues progressions over the past 25 years and that's what's stuck in my mind. So I've got 1, 4, 5, and then we have that 5 chord again, just as the major instead of the minor, to kind of bring it up at the end, and then we go right back to the minor and bring it down. And since we're going to be in the key of A minor, the natural minor to C, our progression is, of course, A minor, D minor, E minor, and then E major, and we're using all 7th chords throughout, so the whole thing. And again, I'll put that up on the screen so you can see it. Our first chord, A minor 7, bar your 5th fret, bar the whole thing, and then 3rd finger comes out for that 5th string, 7th fret. Very bluesy chord, I like it a lot. Next chord, we've got the D minor 7. And that's going to look kind of like an open F chord where you're flatting those first 2 strings on the 1st fret, 2nd finger kind of coming up diagonally, getting that 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then you're just not putting your 3rd finger down like you would for a normal F chord. So you're just leaving that 4th string open. And then we have E minor 7 here, a very cool chord. Let's see if you can see my hand. Probably not, I kind of doubt it. But anyways, we have 2nd fret, 5th string with our 2nd finger, and then the pinky hitting that 2nd string, 3rd fret, and the trick here, the pinky flats down but not all the way, just so that meat behind your pinky is muting that 1st string, because the 1st string will sound awful if you leave it open. So, and then I like to do, as I mentioned before, that change to a major at the very end. And all we do to change to that major E7 is just take the pinky completely off and keep the 2nd finger where it is on that 2nd fret, 5th string. Add your 1st finger in on 1st fret, 3rd string. And all your strings are good. You get the idea. Couple pro tips for playing the blues. Don't use the same right hand pattern for every single chord. And in the blues, honestly, you can change it up whenever you want. It doesn't really matter. There's not a whole lot of structure that has to be followed when you're playing blues solo type pieces. Change it up, vary it like I just did there. Totally fine, and it keeps it way more interesting. And especially on the 4 and 5 chord, in particular, and on that minor major change, it's nice to let some things ring out and give them some time. And another easy trick, if you've seen me do it here a couple times already, if you just don't get to that next chord in time, it's fine. Palm mute, I know you can't see it. Palm mute your strings and just get that chunky bass in there, and it kind of fills it in anyways. It sounds good. There you go. I can make that change faster. I just think it sounds better when you play it like that. It sounds really nice, and it adds almost a percussive element to the whole thing. Practice those changes to get them to speed. Just go back and forth on one pair at a time until you got it going pretty quick. Super easy practice tip. Nothing special there. Pretty straightforward. So let's get to the soloing. All right, so the first thing you need to know for soloing, what key are you in? For this video, we picked A minor because I like it and there are no other reasons. And then you need to find your blues scale. Super easy to do online. Type in A minor blues scale and I bet you'll have some luck. I'll put one up here on the screen. I always use a website, it's called like Chord Rocks or something like that. I don't know, it's a cheesy name. But I use that for everything because they go up to 8 string, which is awesome. Give you every scale in the world, which is also awesome. And we'll put that up here. You can read it, and then I like to learn the scale in 3 different positions. And in my head, I just refer to them as either low, medium, high, 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C. It does not matter. I like to learn it in 3 different positions and really just memorize the scales. It might be boring or something, but blues scales aren't that boring. They're not that bad, but memorize those scales, know where they are around the neck, and then when you're actually trying to solo over it, those are your notes that are good, of course. So if you know where those notes are, you can easily jump from like 15 and 12 down to 8 and 5 to 3 and 0. Now you might not play it in that order, of course, but you get the idea. You know where you are, sort of A, B, C, 1, 2, 3 different positions on the neck, and that's how I like to think of it personally. And if I'm playing in one position, which is usually the second or that middle position, if I'm playing there too much or playing there for a lot, I know I need to change it up, switch to one or the other. And you don't, in blues, you really want to go too much from that kind of high stuff all the way back down. It just doesn't really work too great. You kind of want to go in order in little chunks and whatnot. But anyways, once you get those scales down, and they're not hard, they are easy, just layer the scales over top of what you're playing on the chord progression. If you've got a looper pedal, it's super, super simple. Record it on your phone, do whatever. Or there's tons of videos on YouTube of people just playing a progression or just mechanically looping a progression for like an hour, specifically so you can actually do the soloing over top of it. So let's play a little solo. All right, we'll play a couple passes of the backing track. You get the idea. Feel free to loop that on your own if you want to isolate that from this video or whatever and practice over top of it. Have at it. Let's play the solo part.